pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start off with looking at our minutes. Motion to approve. Okay, if there are no changes, go for a vote. All in favor of the minutes? Aye. Opposed? This one is a resolution authorizing budget modification of final social services, salaries and wages to the football, Central New York suppliers. CSS is contracted with the food bank, Central New York, for many years, but the contract memo will be the same. So due to inflationary pressures, wages, expenses, food costs, CSS is seeking to provide extra costs over and above the contract for their outreach activities. The total contract is $18,740. The gap is $20,175 after 50% federal reimbursement. So the resolution seeks to increase and other supplies and expenses for our food bank, specifically full food bank, expense line by $20,175, and decrease salaries and wages expense line by $20,175. The budget modification neutral to 2024 will be carried through on the 2025 budget. This would increase total share by $10,088. Look for a motion. Second line. So, did I get that right? Right. Any questions? Obviously, we supported the food bank for a long time. It's pretty amazing that they're able to continue for it. So, all those in favor, raise your hand. Aye. Any opposed? This too is a resolution authorizing the modification of public social services salaries and wages to other supplies and expenses for vendor protection contract. This resolution is to adjust the 2023 contract for multi-system therapy services, or MST, to be able to hire staff with the necessary qualifications to meet the needs of the contract. The primary function of MST is to reduce the frequency and severity of aberrant youth behavioral issues and to empower parents with the skills and resources to address the difficulties raising such children. It's also intended to teach youth to cope with peer pressure when able to cross MST is an evidence-based program. The adjustment to the contract is an increase of $31,947, reimbursed at 62% state per reimbursement. The local portion for this budget modification would be moved from unspent salaries and wages, and it's budget neutral in 2024. This will increase our other supplies and expenses lines, $31,947, and decrease salary and wages time the same. So, any questions about this? How did I do on that? All right. No questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? HS3. Resolution authorizing budget modification Department of Social Services, other supplies and expenses. Low-income daycare to other supplies and expenses, temporary assistance. Social services districts are required to provide child care assistance and eligible temporary assistance recipients. Those temporary assistance recipients may be eligible for child care assistance to remain compliant with state employment requirements such as substance use treatment appointments and educational training. During the COVID pandemic, the state issued waivers and significantly reduced the need to provide child care attendance for TA recipients. Plus, there was lots of people that were working. In turn, the amount budgeted was reduced dramatically. As of March 31, 2024, the expense for temporary assistance daycare increased 291% compared to the previous year total. For example, pre-pandemic, 2019, the amount spent was $39,665.68, but in 2021, it was only $5,515. So, with people back to work, the wage being lifted, the resolution would increase daycare and other expenses and supplies line, $35,500 decrease. Daycare, other supplies, expenses, and that is budget. Both of those guys are funded by a child care block, so there's no change in the reimbursement. So, plus that zero of the share of 24 benefits are like 12.5. For motion to move HS3. Sorry. There was a question that we had the actual organizations that received related to the daycare that showed that with a couple of other stories. But just to read that. Any questions on HS3? Well, favor. Aye. Opposed. HS4 is a resolution authorizing budget modification from social services, salary and wages to other fees and services. It says Northwoods software company has changed their billing processes for support and maintenance of their Traverse case management documentation software. We're changing it from a flat fee to a per user fee. This resulted in an increase in cost for support. This Traverse program continues to be central to the activities of our services staff, so it is necessary to continue to support and maintenance for the software. The subscription is reimbursed at 62%, still 38% local. The local portion for this budget modification is being paid by underspent secondary wages. So it will be budget neutral for 2024. The amount is $38,140. Go ahead.
My question, I just had one because I was asked this earlier. What was their proposal when they came into the town that was to go flat rate, meaning the size of table? Okay, so we just basically put it the way it's done in the past, so this can't look this way for us, so we need to.
I would assume your feeling is that this has created a great amount of efficiencies. Since us perhaps saving money in that.
All of their documentation, their records of their activities are about picture, and what's called they can create timelines, searching for and so it's also available to them in the field, so they can take pictures and now we're able to get that I'm going back data collection. Very
They were also in recent with some training, so this is
obviously, and also had our staff walk through the development and the question of the skill set or carrying out certain tasks and make sure that everybody across the board knows how to facilitation. And so we just started. They know how to facilitation. Everybody thought, like my father said, so we do it. So the pride change of the people that do this.
Any other questions? So we will have to capture the data in terms of how much it's spent to advance of the year, and then how do you build that in the budget? Just pick it up. How will we take care of this for next year? Will they look at the years and continue on, see how much affects on us?
That's to be done for people like fact checking. I have really, because I'm not considered an actor. The other thing is, in there, the forms, that forms that I have for the situation, and black folk, what we have, so,
But we'll capture that number. When's the end of the year? The same month.
say,
Okay, so in the middle of next year. Is there any way we capture it? What's that?
we would build it right at the beginning.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution HH5 is resolution authorizing budget modification of Department of Social Services, JD for other supplies, expenses. Counties are required to pay the Office of Children and Family Services for OCFS 50% of the non-federal share of the cost of care for youth-based OCFS facilities. ESS does not place those children. Probation and county attorney's office request placement in OCFS or custody of those children placed in OCFS facilities. But for 2022, Oswego County was required to pay $3,800. It represents $766.80 per day with no children for a total of 266 care days. The proposal would move $24,000 in salaries and wages and into supplies and expense line into so 24,000, and then we have four different expenses. 6,000 other supplies and expenses, 6,000 for state aid social services admin, 12,000 federal aid social services admin. Okay. So that totals 4,000. There will not be any anticipated revenue for the increased expense. Because this expense is paid via a chargeback by New York State. The local share will be transferred from wage vacancy funds. Look for motion on the excess funds. So, do you want to elaborate on this a little bit at all, or so? Maybe this is kind of out of our hands, but we have to get it right.
A higher level of the
I would just note that it's the court that sends the kids to OCFS, not our office. We see some juveniles that are in and out of the family court system, multiple arrests. These are not your typical garden variety juveniles. They could be designated felons. They could be youth who started in the superior, youth part of the superior court, then are moved back to family court. But they're not your garden variety juveniles. So either have prior involvement with the system or their arrestable offenses are of the nature of felony or higher grade felony where they go with that.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carries H.S. 6. Resolution authorizing a budget contribution of additional funding for the Alzheimer's Association of CNI for the compensation. OFA received $763.09 from Alzheimer's Association of CNI to purchase lifelong baby documents for persons suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia-related disease. Dial therapy is a proven therapy for mid to late-stage Alzheimer's disease patients. It addresses the need to nurture and provides a reminder of caregiving days during the process. This will increase the operating 2024 operating budget by $763.09, as well as the expense on services. Same. This will back to the budget. Motion on H.S. 6. Any questions or discussion? I'll second. Oh, Brad? Yeah. Well, we have read the book there. Sure, Andy, it's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not a lot of money. We have received a thank you for one of the animatronic pets. We got it put out in the community. One of the ideas that was sent back to us was, my mom really loves her dog, but she really goes back to the caregiving days. She's a caregiver, and it was really nice. They've seen the dogs. So we then approached the Alzheimer's Association to see if they had any funding to be able to provide towards it, and they did. So we get $5 to be able to go out.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You. H.S. 7 is a resolution establishing capital projects. 0324 Department of Social Services 2024 for the vehicle purchase. So we changed this to the capital project to address that a little bit.
Yes, instead of, we'll change it to a capital project, and that we funds, we can't take money out of the reserve, put it into an operating. So we have to pay for the money we're gonna use, reserve, or operating budget, to pay the capital. So, it can only go.
Okay, so we have a project with this resolution, and then we're going to be able to get it. Just see. What you I've got it listed as review decisions. Yes. Oh, yeah. There's
one way.
Does anybody have any questions about sabotage?
Yeah, I'm excited about that word. It doesn't matter, whatever one.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, first and second. Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go again. On the motion. Ready? Yes. Yes. All righty. Yes, the resolution appointing acting commissioner of social services. I'll let the motion. Go to, August to, a little bit late, so I'll start with that.
Yes, the process of the commissioner search has been delayed a little bit, taking longer. So the retirement of Stacy Elwood pending. We wanted to make sure we have an active commissioner in place. That's what we have back is fully capable of it. So I'm recommending that appoint her active commissioner at the salary grade step of the thing. Basically elevating the argument citizens.
Okay. So, first and second question. Go ahead. No, we already did that. Keep trying to keep it. Stan's distracted.
Hey, Gary, look out for Tammy's picking up things. Oh, it is?
Good. Top of my hands. Well, thank you, Marty, for all your long service to the county and to take this on to reach our safety. As long as you are developing. If there are no objections, I think we'll have to.
Thank you for setting the order. Thanks.
So you have actually the deputy commissioner, not the grand, make the official publish, but also for part of all of it. Any other questions? All those in favor, right? Opposed? Mr. Wilson, Sue, with a presentation for threats of recovery in Oswego County. So make sure you speak up a little bit because it's pretty loud over here.
Thank you. Grateful to my new Friends of Recovery. Oswego County is a new nonprofit. It's a recovery community organization. So what is an RCO? A recovery community organization is an independent nonprofit organization led and governed by people in recovery, friends and allies, following the national model for recovery services. For Oswego County's mission is to work collaboratively to create and promote strategies and solutions for long-term recovery for those impacted by substance use disorders in Oswego County and ensure the availability and accessibility for all. Some of our goals are promoting education, prevention, and awareness activities in an effort to reduce stigma and discrimination related to all pathways to recovery from substance use disorders. Create and promote strategies and services around the 8 dimensions of wellness, thereby improving the quality of life, reducing the risk of recurrence, and assisting in the development of a sustained recovery community. And advocating for legislation and services that support all pathways. So who makes up an RCO? People in any stage of recovery, people who are actively using but looking for resources, friends and family of those in recovery and using, allies of those in recovery, treatment facilities, recovery housing, and other human service agencies. There are multiple pathways to recovery, such as mutual aid support groups, traditional treatment settings, faith-based support, wellness journey, dedicated assisted treatment on your own without formal assistance, harm reduction, and many, many more. Everyone's journey is different. We held our annual meeting and elected the following board of directors. Ellen Rosaric, President, Jessica Conte, Vice President, Trisha D. Wolf, Treasurer, Virginia Bob, Co-Secretary, Kaylin Dowd, Co-Secretary, Thomas Murphy, Aaron Stark, Megan Waldrop, Teresa Wilson, myself, and Jessica Woolworth. We just had an annual activities report. I'm going to give an overview of it. So in 2022, a grassroots group was formed to start an RCO. There were many trainings and conferences and classes taken regarding recovery and support services and how to create an RCO and how to bring non-clinical supports and services to Oswego County. An RCO can be a valuable tool to help in the epidemic of the opioid overdose crisis in the county. In 2023, the group formed the organizational structure and established the nonprofit. All those legalities were formed, and our assumed name is FOR. On May 8th, last year, we opened a recovery center. It's in room 23 West in the McCrory Civic Center. It was provided in kind by the city of Oswego. It is upstairs, so it's not very accessible, but the center was furnished, equipped, and stocked by volunteer donations. Some of the services at the center include distribution of 200 overdose prevention bags, distribution of 300 harm reduction kit supplies. 421 community members were trained in Narcan and 514 kits supplied to those. Distribution of basic supplies like food, personal care supplies. The peer drop-in hours, partnering with OCO and Farnham, and smart recovery meetings held within the prevention network here. Some of the additional activities in community outreach and partnerships include monitoring for wellness activities, fairs, and events. We had 750 unique visitors to the community calendar. We worked with City of Oswego student volunteers and interns, partnering to host sober community events and addressing critical needs in the community, like showering and laundry services connected to individuals and connecting individuals to community services and support. I will be sending out or passing around the activity report that has the full list. Additional volunteer work. We had over 950 hours of service provided by 12 volunteers last year. The board participated in Chinman Foundation board development, coaching, and consultation, which continue. Funding applications were researched, prepared, and submitted to the Oswego County ARPA, the County Opioid Abatement, the City County Youth Bureau, and New York State OA. 2024 has started very strong. We received approval of 3 mini grants to continue to provide recovery services and support, and we began an additional second working board meeting per month. Future goals include employees and larger fully accepted recovery. One of the best harm reduction tools we have is Narcan. I do a lot of Narcan community training. Opioid overdoses continue to plague our town, from prescription opioid medications to street drugs. The risk is very high for an overdose. I do have a list of both sides. All these are opioids. All these are causing. So what an overdose looks like one passed out, right? Any one of these opioids could cause someone to pass out in an overdose. A lot of elderly have opioid prescriptions for chronic pain. They take one too many, they're going to overdose. Happens a lot. Another thing is my sister was in the hospital in Syracuse a few years ago on morphine for a lung infection. The nurse came in and gave her Percocet, which is an opioid, which caused her to overdose right in the hospital. Okay, it's happening everywhere. In hospitals, on the street, in homes, and of course, in street drugs. All of them contain things. A little bit, a lot, which is causing overdose. Overdose is, it looks like someone is passed out. The first thing you do, take your knuckles and use the sternum rub on the street. If they wake up, great, no overdose. If not, continue. The next thing you do is assume. If they don't wake up, assume an opioid overdose. Get a flat on the floor, put a Narcan in their nose, place them in a recovery position, and then call 911. You need them in a recovery position for many reasons. They might go up. Wake up and be back in extreme pain. The reason they took their opioids, or they might be mad and respiratory. Any one of them. So we call 911. Roll them back over, and every 2 minutes you give them another dose. If xylazine in the drug supply on the street, you might need to give respiratory breathing. The xylazine is another deadly chemical that's being put in all the drugs on the street. The tranquilizer. Most everything is fentanyl. So 911 comes and takes the place. And the Narcan will stay in the system 60 to 90 minutes, so someone has to stay with that person. Sometimes it takes 2, sometimes it takes 4 days. But you have two coming a kit. So once 911 comes, the rest of it comes, they take over. Right. Just recently, I gave a presentation at the Oswego Library. They were a little reluctant to take the training. They didn't really want to have to. Know how, I guess, I don't know, but just 3 days later, they found an unresponsive person in the elevator. Tell you what to do. Man got the Narcan sprayed into the nose, 911 came. It was so good. I do have Narcan with me. You've all been trained now. You've all been to community Narcan training. So if you would like to doctor, I have a good deal. You might go to the pharmacy and pay $45. Yeah. Or I will give you some. You have any questions?
How you've been doing it for so long, I must.
Thank you.
I've been at it.
I've been fighting this for about 11 years. I started a small nonprofit 11 years ago called the Bowel Foundation. And now I started to do that.
I just wanted to say thank you to Teresa. It was painful. I wish you guys a fantastic announcement. It's also no slump movie there. Pretty fantastic as well. So thanks all so much.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you so long.
Anybody has questions on Narcan training or Narcan, contact. Did anyone want to get more about the Narcan today? What they think. Yes. And stuff. Sometimes they don't have stuff left, so they don't have time to spend. So depends on what they need. Party up? Oh, you can't even get them to. I forget. Sorry. Okay.
All right. Okay, we're gonna, move on to, discuss the bid. There's, several pages having to do with the, bid for the vehicles, the DSS, for the capital project that you funded. HS 7. So, I would make a motion to accept the, as, the request of action, from Rusty Lacy, the lowest responsible bidder. With your second, we have questions or discussions.
Are those going to be super? They're good deal. They're good deal.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? You? Brian, you must have making a motion to change, a fee schedule for those of you.
This is brand new, so since Legends doing the county history, there was no fee structure in place for renting the facility. Alvarez over there, thanks everything in that. He's our Parks and Rec coordinator. He's been overseeing the complex, doing a great job. He's done some research on this, on how we came up with these rates, on how this works, so we can probably answer the questions you may have. But we are starting to get questions about people wanting to rent the facility. So we wanted to have something in place, and if not for anything, my friend Veronica will go into again, well, we budgeted for 1.5, definitely line as well. So we talked a little bit about with Rich about this, and Zach, Kyle, and I have kind of developed this. It's based on the same contract for the house, it's going to be individualized as to what we would perceive on somebody that they the contract gets broken down per field. Since there's 6 fields, so we have one better happening at a time. So this is what we are proposing, and looking for whatever feedback we get from you moving forward.
I just had one question. I thought the city, didn't we lease a facility in the city at one point? Was it back?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have had a couple school districts who've worked with us. A very good glass guy who confirmed with us. I gave away from the state Bible. Glass guy and Oswego and both. Oswego has 2 games today. I think we're going to Oswego. They're not about 3 games.
This got that extra.
That's going to make my day longer.
Modified baseball teams. I know modified softball teams. I don't know if it's getting up. All 3 modified teams will be using this.
So this contract right here is what we're looking for, because we are having street out, if we have like Cicero Little League.
Cicero Little League, which is out of county, but Oswego Little League specifically as well. So, and it's huge for other organizations. We've had a lot of different organizations reach out in regards to using it, and how we've been, kind of holding on using it. I have, my own kind of thoughts and questions regarding nonprofits like a Little League, personally, why things go short. I think that's certainly different than a for-profit organization looking to reserve. So feel free to chime in with that as well. Myself, I prefer to partner with people like Little League, the places that are inexpensive outlets for children. Certainly, it's up to
the legislature to set the fees for the use of its own facilities. You can set those fees as you see fit.
Yeah, so background on that as well. I looked at one specifically that I use is Gary Park in Syracuse. They are a half-grass facility just like our own. With a similar demographic, we can sell it close to here. Regarding their rates, what they utilize, I also went online look at some neighboring states, and some of their facilities, a lot of those, some of which were grass and clay, some of which were all turf. But barrier was a big baseline regarding this. Although it is run by a for-profit, so I knocked that down slightly from what they're, bringing in terms of revenue. But again, there's just for-profit. So, but just using in terms of, they have 2 fields as well, we have 6, so something else to consider in terms of the supply and demand. That's
Well, it's reasonable to have fees because there are costs to us for operating, so we have lights on, stuff, we have staff. So, like, it's really good to move some stuff.
As of right now, it is locked. The main reason being we have so many contractors in and out that are doing, various types of work. More for the liability piece of it is we don't want to, accessible, and up until recently, the side had to sit and we need to keep it off regardless. As the summer progresses, I have staff starting with me now that are there to allow open hours to the public, as well as blocking and lock. Right now, it's myself, for the most part, doing it for all the schools and different organizations, but our plan is to have community hours, as well as some of our own county-run functions. And we're softballs up to 203 girls. That starts in May, a week from today, so we're ready for it. But we'll have some open availability as well as reserve college. You charge a school softball program on support out there for the season. How's that one? As of now, we do now. I know that is something we've been in discussion a little bit of saying, what do we want that to look like going forward? What kind of return on investment do we have? If they invest, what do they need to be able to make that work in terms of field renovation or change of dimension or any additions? And trying to talk about that. It's a little over my head in terms of those conversations. I have I've been at that part of some of those conversations. Right now, there is no charge for that. So now, isn't the district charging them use their facilities for basketball?
I don't, not how they used to. If you're a youth organization now.
They changed that? To some extent. I'm on the Little League board. And they use our fields. I believe now we charge them slightly because they do the same to us in theory, but we had tried to utilize some of the school facilities for our evaluations, and they had quoted the cost. What I'm saying would be the same to us from the Little League side of things, and for a long time they don't let anyone use ours free of charge in theory. So, yes, as of right now, everyone who is utilizing it, it's free of charge. Age to use the place. So there's more siblings. There's some discussion between the county and the school districts when it use it for the team play. So I'm assuming this fee schedule does not include school districts. Right. This would be for groups. Second question, I understand lowering the fees for local parks. It's pretty fair. But then, is this covering cost? Or is it a partial cover?
I think so, because if you look, we have an additional vehicle like that for.
Yeah.
So we're still working out what those costs are, with what might cost on, but at the point now, that's what we'll probably going to pay for that, because the lights are all individualized too, so somebody can feel one and that's their one out. They also got. So this is what we're hoping for, but yes, I think it'll cover because, like Pat said, if people are, what we've been doing, it's mostly in, without joking saying I'm locking up the parent, it's not there, whatever. So somebody from the cabinet is covering.
Well, the last question they had, it says here, security deposit of $100 required to go to the usage credit for that. Does that include the usages that are less than $100, or is that just for the?
I think everybody has to fill in these out if they're going to do it. So yeah, he charges 35 to put it.
And about so less, even if they're only there for an hour. That's my opinion on it, and I'll tell you, it's correct. They bring a knife with them in the last bottle or something of the sort that it's clearly for them to cut. They cut the turf. I'm a firm believer you can't get luck in the stone necessarily, so I mean, I think it's fair, it's fully fundable on completion of the rental.
Well, and a good example of that is, we don't allow sunflowers in California. It's not, but somebody felt that. So we have to clean it up. But in the future, if somebody rents it, that's something that was left right there. And if they're going to break that rule, then they can sell the box. It's easily to be enforced. I mean, for example, like I built, I can play baseball, you know, that you're not with the sign when they send those up. So if they're not, if the team's not going to police it and they're going to let that happen, you charge them for that.
So what about the organizations that are already scheduled there to do their tournaments and such? So
They're separate, so we have an agreement with Champion Sports who runs their tournament separate, and that'll be a whole different equation. But this is like, Champion tournament's basically Friday through Sunday, so our goal is Monday through Thursday, right, offering different opportunities. We've had some local accounts, and we've had some local clubs come to us, wanting to clap up to the practice here, to whatever here, and we're like, well, hold off, till we get a little bit more direction, that's going to follow up. Staff person, the start staff, basically.
For regarding right now,
Well,
yeah, I would say the school district has a few places that are every day
right.
there. I meet them there anyways and supervise. But I watched probably more out of my baseball stuff than I had in a long time. But they do have access to it currently in terms of Oswego City School District and Champions events.
But it will be treated like Palace. When you're in Palace, you have to unlock it. You have to.
So do each of these organizations have to have liability insurance as well of their own?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's on the back, they have to fill that out.
Yeah, so this would be more for your one-off, Little League games that canceled due to rain, they need a facility to play at. In terms of the school districts or Champions or some of these other more long-term contractual vendors, if you want to say, it's a separate agreement that maybe Rich could elaborate on more. They're providing insurance, and then there is, some larger picture of long-term and full-time use, as opposed to just the random Tuesday night when we could have been, which is going to be where this more folks.
Well, obviously, if it's open to the public, we're not going to require insurance from the public to use batting cages or fields or whatever. The districts have to provide proof of insurance of their agreement. Same mutual for leagues or things that will organize entities like Y, things like that for the program.
If there's a men's league, if we're talking about that now, a couple people, if they get enough and they want to, do they come to you about setting up during the week sometimes that they can play and then a fee type thing, or will they have to follow?
Well, it's Rich said before, direction from his legislature, how he'd like to proceed if it's a non-youth group. But so yeah, we have private adult group, and yeah, they will follow the same structure unless we're advised differently by 10 years.
It could be an association that has a variety of teams under it. Doesn't have to be each group.
I think we should consider when the different groups like a men's league or women's league would want to have softball teams during the week, if there's any way we can come up with a fee structure, things like that. Similar to like the Ireland championship.
That's why it's good to have this discussed before it's set, just to understand the different uses. A facility was not really used a lot outside of Champions for many years, and now seeing this other interest, it's up to the county to determine how to meet that need and how best to promote it and serve the needs of the field. So
we've also had inquiries in ballot as well.
Yes. Yeah, so we've had, for Oswego State, their kind of campus recreation department has inquired about running some intramural programs potentially out there. I've been in conversation a little bit with Scott Landers, as well as Coach Nichols from the softball program about, potential future use. And with Coach Landers specifically talked about, if the fences were to change long term, which is something we're discussing for the high school programs, about possibly using having Mayfield as a wash. So there's other partnership opportunities going as well. So the long-term vision of who's utilizing it. In my opinion, should not be acceptable. Yes, there aren't many turf facilities in the area. I think Carrier is probably the only one myself that comes to mind. Within a 45-minute drive anywhere, U of R, probably next closest. Maybe Webster. So, what's that? Where's U of R? They have just their one field right on campus. But Webster, there is maybe one field, there's two. So, especially having six, few in the entire state. So, certainly an asset to that.
Well, like I said, it is interesting, like I said, if you're going to go up and out the street today and see two separate games going with possibly a third or a practice. So, 3 different fields out there and 3 out. So, if that was going forward, then they would all be pumped out of that.
Yeah, the price point structure as well is something if with 6 fields, certainly don't want them sitting right up either. So there is, I would say, such thing as overpriced to some extent, which I'm sure may fluctuate. I can tell with the Pantera experience thus far, that price has jumped the last few years as we see the demand for it growing. We certainly restructure that pricing, but my personal viewpoint now is get it used. Let's see what does this price do? It may be maybe we're scaring people right as it is currently, or maybe we're completely selling ourselves short and we find it to be more profitable. But certainly something to think about. 6 idle fields generating no revenue doesn't necessarily have to be something to consider as well. I actually met with Bill Bosch today, who's the president of the Hall of Fame, regarding kind of the revitalization of their board. And I know Tim Saul is a big part of that as well. Getting that and using kind of a multi-sided board to talk, speak kind of tourism opportunity as well as that Hall of Fame, Legends history, things of the sort of using that as somewhat of an attraction right in the main entranceway of Legends. There is discussion. I know we've had some inquiries regarding adult softball. I think with myself being somewhere new and, Brian, certainly intervene if you feel necessary, but, gearing it towards our youth now, considering I'm a youth bureau and also allowing me to not bite off more than I can chew in year one, I think was kind of the viewpoint, but I myself would love to see some adult recreation programs going on out there as well. I think that number is significantly down, and Mr. Bosch agreed in our meeting today. I think that stems from not creating that longevity. So I think the long-term vision, even in, say, this girls softball program, is create 200 girls who continue to play throughout. We want to play afterward. But those numbers are dwindling. Really, at 203, we're about 100 behind Little League, which is a 70-year program. So the interest is there. Hopefully that helps grow that interest, which would be a long-term success. So I think we started to get on the floor, and I think it'll blossom.
I think we also think it'll go forward when they mentioned something as well. Depending on weeklies, at least one thing. So I spoke up the last year about we are all playing 5 coaches football for practice. When they practice, they're allowed to play. So we thought about that it would make sense to them to partner with someone so their fees can practice facilities or they can have overflow games at the board. In the perfect scenario, Little League, on one given day, it's rained out at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's rained all day and they lost their field. Couldn't play it by 5. It's not rained by 4 o'clock. So that would be a long-term relationship we would look with like whatever. But if they right now, it's kind of like a standstill, but that's a problem going forward too. And that's not, watch the news, Mexico's struggling to, things that matter. So
Mexico School District has reached out. They weren't able to make it work just time frame wise. The side wasn't ready yet for the games that they were looking for. The last guy has utilized it, Oswego has utilized it, and the whole thing acquired. So I could see it just about every single Oswego County school, trying to beat each other up for it, but it's in high demand. So, certainly in the batting cages, I know we were talking to Little League a little bit. There's only one page there. and that's league-wide. So I know majors for the 5 teams fighting for Winfield. For the cages, there's 1 cage amongst, 15 teams. So having 6 batting cages in elbow shell would be a benefit too. Expansion for another couple fields, they have all the fields.
So there might be room for expansion on the current footprint to move to the fence line. We had surveyor go out, set stakes, the corners, a couple complicating factors. One's a high pressure national grid gas line, actually 2 of them. We have to be cognizant of, but I think we can work around that by not driving fence poles into the ground, big concrete base or something like that. Yeah, so Tim is looking into that a little bit more, and then the parking is also looking at the potential expansion of that temporary.
Like all single family tournament, like all Vegas and playing in softball and stuff. So they all have to go about like 7 and we can back and play those. So like all nice, service and have a good season. So they have a tournament about that, and then that invitation to come down to ball 1 minute, and then they go, hey, let's bring them off and talk about that something in place.
To set the fee schedule after that. So, second. Any other discussion? All right, we can always amend it if we need to. Get vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve 2 appointments to the advisory, the office for the Aging Advisory Council. We have discussion. There. Warning. Use Bureau.
Okay, sorry, I'll go fast to keep up on that. So a couple things, you heard me talk about it coming up, so the youth summit is this Wednesday out at the fairgrounds. We have about 500 new traders, final count was in there, about 40 vendors. We'll be there to talk about careers that we'll be offering in single county so that our young people as they enter high school will have an idea of different job opportunities and what path we'll have to take to get that. I mean, we all know we all run programming there, we're involved in things that help put them along the way and along the line to get that. So that's Wednesday. That's the grass that is going to be there with the rise, so they'll do a welcome like we always have done in the past. So that
I usually check with
yeah.
size.
Okay.
It's your turn. Yeah, he said he was calling. We also
All right, I'll reach out to them.
supposed to be on our house.
Anyways,
I have a point.
you did it 1 year. I'll reach out to them and I'll look for what I got to back up. So as you kind of heard, Alex, Derby, and Redmond's all officially open this month. When I say open, they'll all start taking our youth in on a regular basis as we go forward. Redmond's have had tournaments so far out up there, both of them have been very successful. Working with Tim Stahl and Grant Ryder about playing the CFA in the summer or some additional upgrades at Redmond's. In Hannibal, we'll be kicking off this summer with the Hannibal Free Library on June 22nd. We are going to tell the Hannibal Summer Bath. That's the event we put on. We're doing movies in the park, the summer parking for the petty. On June 26th, we will be here in Oswego. On July 24th, we'll make a War Memorial in Hilton, and August 23rd, at Maxwell High School. Our traveling arts and parks and children have 17 events at Sunday Square, other events and volleyball, football, parish, and village animal, so that's all going well. Our airport program is moving along very quickly. It's bounced back from COVID was difficult, and now it's coming back strong with a lot of positions being filled. Camp House, we still have 2 open positions in both infant helpers. Our enrollment Camp House as of June 1st is 545 kids who signed up for camp so far. Our Ready project at Camp House has completed. I'll send around some pictures you can look at. That's the block. So you've seen pictures of it as it's going around, and the past parts of it, we're going to have a ribbon cutting out there that we're working with Raven and Bastian to do a ribbon cutting on the completion of the Ready project out at Camp House. Legends, we have, how many more staff?
I could take 2, but I budgeted for 2 more, but in theory, only messed up. I mean,
So if anybody knows anybody looking for a summer job, or about the weather, something, if anybody about it's going to be, we have 1 at 30. Maybe. But at 30, our numbers, we are almost sold out. Our numbers are pretty strong. I think there's still spots open throughout the 7 weeks, but that's very strong right now. The town also has 203 girls.
yeah, Derby has 28 one week, and I believe 25 another week. The rest are already over capacity in theory. And yeah, South Ball's going to be. Well, 7 spots in position at Derby. Can't come to it.
Well, there's more to the pool, I've never heard about it. Anyways, so the pool is very old, built in the 70s, and the pump went on it this year. We never know when they open the pool, what's going to happen. We're not to start having evaluated, we have to replace the pool filter pump. Do that money, thanks to the capital project, we'll have some money left in it at Hollis, and we're going to move some money around at Hollis to pay for the project, but the new like boxing to replace the pool pump for that water. Have accomplished that, we're going around working with that, got time for that, we're working that within our budget, so not something to ask for money for that. When we did open the pool, the water seemed very low in there. Nobody could remember on rating at that low, but nobody for sure, so we filled it, and in fact, the power up yesterday. Saturday?
Yes, yeah.
Yesterday, and the pool level was out for it, and Friday, something like that. So, clean all with some feedback today, and they were going to evaluate what's going on and apply it. It's fine, and we'll close it. So, it's not dramatic water loss, because it wasn't on, but it's full down. What's happening with that? But we'll work to get around it. But other than that, we just have to pull up and running. I think you promise the that's the one that thing happens, so it happens.
Piece of pump.
Pretty good.
Several horsepower.
I mean, since I've been doing this, we haven't replaced the motor on it 1 year, but not the whole thing. So I've been doing this stuff at least 10 years, and they said it was last about 10 years. So whenever it was put in, Zach was actually at the counselor camp, so that he doesn't never replace the motor. So I'm guessing it's. So hopefully, the new one we're getting is going to be maybe more efficient than anything nowadays. So maybe find it out, but saving that power or yeah. That's it, but we'll back on wood, have it all up and running for our first cycle.
So our first big checks in, if that's what we're on. Those are for veterans. We got 2,500 of them sitting by. We got last year. We sold out last year. So not quite the time they ordered one. This year in the spring, we already have a lot of people asking us about it. So I foresee us going to be ordering even more of these. Each veteran, if you allow 25, it's each quality. They can buy staff eligible foods and any of the farmers markets in the area, which is only 25 per household, and that's there are 2 veterans in that house. We had a phone call today this morning, and female
husband passed away, he was a veteran, she's pilot, I guess, to get the fly. So those are already being put out. Already had people calling, people coming to the office, and they're gonna be located anywhere we're at. So the blast out, I've been blast out, Oswego, I've been Oswego. Speaking of Oswego, we have the Vet Fest that's coming up on the 14th. This is put on by the Oswego County, Underpack is going to be there to provide meals. The VA is actually sitting representatives down that are going to help people enroll in the healthcare, which is the most direct route. They're also going to be there to provide the VA healthcare ID cards. Any veteran that's in the healthcare system that doesn't have an ID card, they come to Oswego and get an ID card on that day. Me and my guys are going to be there to answer any PACT questions. Anybody who's not in our system, we're going to get to put them into our system, make appointments to come in and talk to us about benefits. Another big thing that we got coming up on Veterans Day, folks in mind already heard about the free transportation for veterans. That's the Central and Single Public Transit. Our office, what we're going to do is we're going to maintain the forms, and the veterans are going to come to us. We're going to verify the veteran status, fill the documentation out, they take it to Central. Central is then going to print them a card with the photo on. And then with that card, we're then provide them to the Central buses for free. That's Oswego, Oswego, and then inside the county, the public transit also.
Well, we haven't confirmed that yet, but we're looking at that. I think most likely to be about a split, but I have to be able to. So, yeah.
The last thing I got is I finally got my hands on a sandwich board. I have this sign made up, and I'm in talk with the Tops grocery stores, specifically on Blast Out and Sandy Creek, to be able to go up there and sit down, 1 or 2 days a month, just hand out information to veterans as they come in. That's our biggest problem area as far as getting in contact with people. The signage is going to be in Blast Out when I'm there on Thursday, just to let people know that we are in the area. So we're hoping to catch more veterans that come in out of the grocery stores. Anywhere we can find that we can set up off of to try to keep those information out.
Yeah, from we got with the press releases on. Yes, those couple of minutes. Any other questions for Eric? Good job.
I passed down items of interest. June 20th is our longest day event. We go at the farmers market, and so after June 20th, we'll start to lose daylight. The days will be getting shorter, but it is traditionally a day to bring awareness to Alzheimer's and dementia-related diseases. So we'll have a great presentation at 5 o'clock, and we'll walk around some bridges today. So all of you are certainly welcome to come and participate with us. Yes, some wear purple, because purple is the color of Alzheimer's. We also tag on to Eric. We did get notifications for our farmers market bonds. Different companies program. Our coupons are valued at $5 a piece, and it is only for fresh fruits and vegetables that are local, like the farmers market. The farmers market has to go to the. And this year we're having to say the last time farmers market is a little soon market, so that coupons will get something where. So they get $25 worth, and for every member that's eligible in that household, they get those $25. They give the 6 year older and the eligibility requirements. We'll have that in there. I'm getting 900 this year. We can splash it at 850. We are before that 750. So get our coupons very quickly. They are first come, first served. So we will start. I think because of that, we can't distribute anything until there's notification that we have them when they're available. have not received them yet. They're saying the end of June, so as soon as they come in, we'll count them, make sure that all the numbers match up, because they all have numbers on them. And then we will get out of the community. We'll start with a drive-through event in Fulton at the community college parking lot. And also in conjunction with that, we're working with a few banks in Central New York that have 100 key boxes at least, hopefully more, but to distribute as well. And we'll start, that'll kick off our container garden distribution as well, in Basil this year. So there's 900 coupon booklets, but we only have 600 Basil gardens, so the 600 big gardens. After the big drive-through event, we'll have at our office, we'll have our day event there on Thursday. Thursday evening, we'll be at the Oswego Farmers Market. Friday, we'll be at the Fulton, or Glasgow Farmers Market. Saturday, we'll be at the Fulton Farmers Market. Then we'll go to all the congregate dining sections to the participants there. Then if there's any coupon booklets left, we'll start going to the senior buildings. And any of our home care clients that can't get out with the booklets, we can give them to them. They can have a box just like at the farmers market for that, so they don't actually physically have to go to the farmers market. It'll be a busy couple of weeks. We think them all within 15 days. So get out there and get out with them. And we have got calls already using our funds with the veterans, so we've been pulling those calls on to Eric's office. So we've been now, if they can get both his funds and my funds. So they can get so also our senior picnic is scheduled for August 14th. It's a Wednesday. We're going to be at the VFW. There's in the packet. There's a sample date. More information to come on that. But it certainly would be lovely to see people at the events to put our seniors. Right now, we're capping it at 125 participants. Last year, we had 113 that showed up. So we're hoping to get too many more than 125 of that. We'll prepare for 135 in case we have some shit. And if my staff has done a really good job of fundraising for this, so there's none of this other than staff funds from with fundraising to pay for the meals as well. So the meals, the entertainment, the motivation, everything will be with that fundraising, probably that cost. So we're going to United Way, all the checks go to United Way, let them with the receipts when they pay the bills. We're in the process of organizing two senior health insurance affairs. Number one, because we can't see as many people in our office because we don't really have an office, so there's no privacy or confidentiality where we are. So we're trying to get people around the county to the insurance companies. So we'll be putting communication out to the insurance companies that offer Medicare Advantage plans and Part 2 plans to ask them to come together. We'll be there, or Social Security might have a representative, somebody from Medicaid, EPIC, Statewide Senior Action Council, Medicare Right Center, to be there to answer any questions, and then to help connect our seniors with the insurance companies directly and to step out of the picture this year to affect them. And if it goes well, it's something that we'll do, next year as well. It doesn't have to be restricted to like the states. If it works well for people to go and buy different insurance companies at once and different messages they need, I think that's better as opposed to just coming to us to get better children. So we're looking at the Fulton and Glasgow and the possible third location in insurance as well. And I mentioned that last meeting that we had received a mini grant, so staff are being trained on adding a mini cognitive assessment as part of our patient assessment, which will help detect dementia earlier. So if somebody has already been cognitive assessment, can help that detection so that we then can connect them to services or to at least let them know that this is something to be on the lookout for, that where they get understand what that cognitive assessment. And that's the working with upstate hearing how for that. Now, that is it, other than I did put in the packet too, this is a listing of where staff are each month. So we have our OFA outreach workers that go, they're in the horn, a number of places each month. Get out in the community, try to fix where the people are. The green is our New York Connect staff, so that anyone of the which they're assisting, and then the blue is insurance officers. So again, because of our office the way it is, it's possible so you can meet people and not turn them away. So I have heard a little bit. People do walk in to assist them. We're just kind of encouraging them to extend one of our office hours because we want to have privacy and confidentiality. But that does not mean that we would not assist someone that walks into our office. We will try to find confidential space, whether it's in health department's administration or commissioner's conference room or somewhere within the space to be able to meet with them and give them information basically. Just I only encourage that them to just drop them because we can't have that space. Yet, 6 months. Fingers crossed, we'll close up.
Any questions for Jared? Okay.
The first, well, developing our work additionally. So that is try to bring that on board the processing fraud. So it's 2023, I'm looking at oil process, another one, and work. Now from that, our contract so that should be completed as the test that it goes to chat or that's the staff have the staff or they ask questions about program policy. That's one of the established. So that's and I equipment that for iPads over starting with like that. So they're figure out, you know, what people I have also said that before next fall, we have a number of that with they are not able to speak the rest of it. that as filed with her. So that, like her, that was kind of like us. As we get better with our week, are they ready for that's great. Well, or I don't know. Or, that.
Will they stay in Brooklyn? Or,
Once they're, bucket. I'm still, so, top 232, 460, they closed 209. The total number of reports open at the April was 982, and 631 of those are open. 982 total, 631 open. That would say that that's the one that we okay. At the end of April, 115 cases were waiting for approval. They submitted. So that's a very good number. Not all of those cases are approved. So through clearly. So, yeah, wait. And as the posters,
If the people, what people,
on
yeah, yeah.
police fire, we are site staff. They actually really decided that, that's why we were at. Like, typically, this is senior people. That exposure, but with the part-timers, you have an open. Look at that without that balance. It helps in following. So, our two next unit, we have 42.5 total positions at this point in time. So, at the end of April 24, we can't get insurance. And that's because we had 6 vacancies, one on the whole, 5 on the rotation for plan coding, time vacation, so plan time off. We have 6 for the training. Our family services unit, we have about 300 and about 1,500 people. And 39 caseworker positions in services. Two caseworker for training over the whole caseload. When they come in and they go to services, they can take a couple of cases, but they can't take a whole caseload. And yeah, they can't do that. 4 caseworkers are in sobriety treatment recovery team, that's a start team. And 5 of them are in home and rehab caseloads. With 3 children, foster homes, and the other 2 are in debt. So when we place children, go, they're assigned to the case, they go out and help families and so we had about 29 caseworkers. So yeah. I have 9 positions. We're going to get a court judges or roughly use order to pick up the surrender so far 105 court summons. plaintiff privilege. It was actually, last time I was in the position that done that came up prior to that. And I have a error here, we have one attorney vacancy that, that's. Just, couple of the our staff have been participating in motivational interviewing sessions. They're all trained in motivational interviewing. They're not going to receive the full training. They will eventually get the session, but this is important because PIPSL, which is a federal affinity for the Act, will eventually provide funds for programs like motivational. Because evidence needs to go back on the hearing for PIPSL. So that means that they will eventually set forth criteria, saying this is how you can claim funds for using this particular plan. And we would get about 50% of what we pay, and then 62%. So, of course, there will be documentation of very on public that, but none of that information has been submitted to that. So we will be providing more information about that. What's happening. But just to put that on the radar, this is one part of the song that's been different components. But so, the other big news is that the federal government has passed down that laws that people need to upload an adult hotline, adult hotline. So we haven't received a lot of information about what that will look like. We have, I think it's 4 years to get it up and running. And whatever other requirements will come along with that. So we really know very little other than we will have to do that. So that. Next step here, there's your down here says which was created that's is created for but this is about their number 7 report. And you can see the back of the last two places. So here. But we're going to be about 100 and then it's kind of start like a practice type of home with the thing. And then also watch it out. So
Back to the training page. So it says job search, 127 adult schedule, 91 people. What's that? Are those mandated?
yeah.
No. All right, thank you. I'll go for the appropriate motion. Feel better. It's about her. All in favor? Thank you. Then I'll worry about it. Thank you.